Hello, this is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna booksellers. And today is another journey for me because I've decided that I will begin another series. This today is I think it's the 7th of February 2023, and it's a good time to start a new series. Because today I can tell you that I finished the Italian lessons 1 to 60. They're all now available online in insegna.com in the blog section, and of course on YouTube as well as elsewhere. But I'm not going to delve on what I've done there straight away. You can look it up. Today is I've decided that since I have so many cookbooks here and health books in Italian and in English as well, I thought, well, it's might as well present some of these and try to find what other people have written about these important topics, both cooking and health. There are two important themes in our lives, and we use these every single day. We want good health, and presumably that food will give us good food, selective food for ourselves, and learning to, to manage each day as best as we can in order to retain good health via the use of good food, and therefore knowing a little bit more about these two topics will help us. Now, I am not going to say that I will be holding a live, Tom Padula live on Facebook every week about this topic. I want to be more, I want to be free really to be able to present these particular live podcasts, presentations of mine on cooking and of course health, Cucina e Salute, and I'll come back occasionally. I think I'll want to retain a bit of my freedom and independence in terms of when I come on to Facebook, because I've noticed over the last 18 months that not many people do come on when you want them to, but a lot are actually looking on and coming later to listen to. Some people listen for 2 minutes, other people do the whole hour. I intend to do this presentation for a full hour, and I will retain the fact that I want the first 5 minutes of mine to be my presentation of the program or my philosophy or whatever. Now, I don't claim to be a doctor nor medicines. I don't claim to be a great chef or a cook. I'm just me, Tom Padula, who tries to do different things at different times, including cooking. I'm becoming, in certain areas, I'm becoming all right. All you have to do is ask my granddaughter. She's very complimentary of my food, and I'm very glad for that. And whoever, wants to try it, of course, of the people that I know, they have to trust me, they have to trust you if you cook for other people. So it's important to remember to always be safe in our handling of food, even drink, and also with a view to look after our health. So that's it, really. I mean, one of the things that I will do, I will present you. I've got a few books each week. I'll present you some books about cooking and about health. So there they are. And I'll go through them during the course, of this particular presentation. And, well, we'll see how we go. Va bene? Okay, so That's 4:40. That's exactly. I started at 4:35, and I will do an hour now, and we'll take it from there. So, how am I going to start? This is a journey. How do you start a journey? You start a journey with the first step. So let's see. La Cucina. Now, what do I remember La Cucina? One of the early pleasures of my life is that when at home, Mum made homemade pasta. La pasta ripiena. Look at this. This is the one. Look at that. See? And then you add whatever. Now, this is a book, of course, and I want to thank the people who were responsible for this. And, of course, these particular books that I show you are available from me here at Insegna Booksellers. If you come and see me on a Saturday, or, you know, make an appointment first, of course, even during the week as well. We have to, you know, I have to be here for you because I'm not always here as a sole trader. You know, I do my best. You know, I'm a good amateur, if you like, and that's what I try to do. So that's pasta fresca ripiena. That's one of them. Now let's have a look at what I have to say about this particular book, pasta. But of course, you know, these books here are written in Italian as well. So when I read parts of it, I'll then say it in English, like what I've done with Dante Alighieri, and also with the Italian lessons and French as well. And Spanish I'm learning, of course, and you know about that, about my work there, because there have been quite a few people who have watched or have come on to my podcasts. These are presentations initially, and then we turn them into podcasts. So, this one says, begins with pasta fresca ripiena. Questo volume raccoglie ricette di pasta fatta in casa, con uova e senza Maria Jose Angelami, Costanzo, welcome. This is my first, this is Cucina e Salute with Tom Padula live on Facebook. So this is the first ever program, and I won't come in every week, but occasionally I'll do presentation 1, presentation 2, 3, 4, and then I will add them to the catalogue of work that I do. So let's go back. I wanted to welcome Maria Jose Angelami, Costanzo, who is my niece, and wonderful. Because I haven't announced it, I've just decided to come up and do it. Questo volume raccoglie ricette di pasta fatta in casa con uova e senza, ripiena e stesa, nostrana ed esotica. Include anche alcuni tipi di gnocchi. So we're talking about homemade pasta, including gnocchi. Sequenze gesto per gesto descrivono la preparazione di tipi di pasta, di ripieni o di condimenti. Fra gli ingredienti non sono registrati quelli per fare il brodo, ove cuocere i manufatti o il sugo con cui condirli. Vi sono le dosi di burro e parmigiano, solo 6 ingredienti del ripieno. Nella lista degli ingredienti non figurano sale e pepe, il cui uso si dà per scontato, al pari dell'acqua per cuocere la pasta o lessare le vivande, ma nelle ricette è indicato il momento di aggiungerli. I tempi di preparazione non includono, salvo giustificate eccezioni, il periodo di riposo della pasta, circa mezz'ora, dice qua. Le dosi di farina sono da aumentare della modesta quantità necessaria per infarinare la spianatoia e la pasta stessa. I tempi di cottura sono complessivi, tengono conto delle cotture principali e complementari. Le dosi anche dei condimenti sono calcolate per gente che a tavola si sorveglia. Niente, tranne la prudenza, vieta di aumentarle. Il nostro consiglio è di scorrere la scheda corredata anche di utili indicazioni sul livello di difficoltà, grado di sapidità e valori dietologici. quindi di leggere con cura la ricetta in ogni sua fase prima di intraprenderla, e come al solito buon appetito. So, for those people who don't speak Italian, of course, if you are a student of Italian and you want to you want to know a little bit more about Italian, then I'm going to go through this again. Maria Nuccio Formica, welcome. I'm going to go through this again and explain what pasta rinfresca e ripiena in what this book say, because I'll show you again. This is pasta fresca ripiena. This is the book that I read from and I get my information from. So I don't claim to be anything at all, except I have a huge quantities of books in order to improve not only our ability to cook, but also to look after our health, and then we all need it. And also, whilst at it, you're learning Italian words and phrases. So let me start again, and I will go slowly now and try to provide you with English translation, or not translation, but a little summary of what they say. Questo volume raccoglie ricette di pasta fatta in casa, con uova e senza, ripiena, estesa, nostrana ed esotica, include anche alcuni tipi di gnocchi. So this is a pasta that's made with eggs or without eggs, and gnocchi are also part of making this sort of pasta fresca, tagliorini, etc., etc. Those are the things that people have been cooking for a long time in Italy and elsewhere. But of course, my focus this time here will be on Italian cooking. Sequenze gesto per gesto, in other words, descrivono la preparazione. So this is the preparation is described in this particular book, and also the condiments. So preparation, then you make the pasta, the condiments. Fra gli ingredienti non sono registrati quelli per fare il brodo. So amongst the ingredients you don't make the brodo, it's a separate entity, if you want, per overcuocere I manufatti. So I'm not quite sure what they say there, but I assume that, you know, you do need the sugo, the sauces, but you could also technically use the brodo, the soup part, you know, liquid. Vi sono le dosi di burro e parmigiano solo se ingredienti di ripieno. So burro, butter and Parmesan cheese, you use, or other types of cheese are made into this. You can use in the ripieni when you're making what you put in the sauce or on the pasta once it's cooked. There's use your imagination as well, and you try, and when you get it right, then you do it again. Nella lista degli ingredienti non figurano sale e pepe, il cui uso si dà per scontato. So salt and pepper is not put into these recipes that they describe in this particular book, and they say because we assume that you're going to use them anyway, according to how much salt you want, how much pepper you want, whether you like the spicy stuff or not. So here we go. Nella lista degli ingredienti non figurano sale e pepe, il cui uso si dà per scontato. Al pari dell'acqua per cuocere la pasta o lessare le vivande, ma nelle ricette è indicato il momento di aggiungerli. So here is saying, al pari dell'acqua per cuocere. So in other words, when you boil the pasta, they tell you lessare le vivande. You sort of leave them there for a while before you cook them. So all these sort of suggestions are in the book. And the time when you should be putting them in. So when do you put the pasta? When the water is cold, when it's hot, when it's tepid, when it's boiling, all these things. Do you put salt in the water, etc.? These I am now adding from my own experience. I tempi di preparazione non includono, salvo giustificate eccezioni, il periodo di riposo della pasta, circa mezz'ora. So you're supposed to relax the pasta for about half an hour, at least after you've prepared it. Le dosi di farina sono da aumentare della modesta quantità necessaria per infarinare la spianatoia e la pasta stessa. So you add the extra flour when needed. I tempi di cottura sono complessivi, the cooking part, delle cotture principali e complementari. So sometimes you can also take whatever you're doing from being cooked and then you come back to it. I'm not quite sure how we would proceed with something like that, but they say le dosi anche dei condimenti sono calcolate, they're calculated, you know, the recipes are come up, you know, they're recipes because they've been tried over and over again. Le dosi anche dei condimenti sono calcolate per gente che a tavola si sorveglia. Niente tranne la prudenza vieta di aumentarle, so you can go up and down as you like. Il nostro consiglio è di scorrere la scheda sul livello di difficoltà, grado di sapidità e valori dietologici. So in other words, study the recipe closely and then apply, follow the recipe. And they say indicazione e valori dietologici, so the value of, the health value of this, whatever you cook. Quindi leggere con cura la ricetta in ogni sua fase, prima di intraprenderla e come al solito buon appetito. So that was pasta fresca e ripiena. So that was one. Now, I'm not sure whether I will be able to, how I'm going to do it with this. But this one is interesting, really and truly. And by the way, I'm not going to sit around straight away. Salva Scollo, welcome. This is another book called Voglia di Giardino. Okay, so, oh no, wait on. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do Le piante che guariscono. Here we go. Le piante che guariscono. This is another book that I have here. Fitoterapia, medicina cinese e Ayurveda, Ippocrate, Galeno e Paracelso, Lin Ponte fra Oriente e Occidente. So this is now, because I said, Tony Angelino, welcome. I said, oh no, here, sorry. I didn't turn. Okay, Le piante che guariscono, that's the book here. Now, I'm just going to open it up because we were talking about la cucina, cooking, or cucina e salute, cooking and health. Sunda Lombardi, welcome, Antonio Angelino as well. Now, this one here says here, dei farmaci che vengono consumati nel mondo occidentale sono derivati dalle piante. So, the pharmaceutical, the pills, the tablets, they come from plants. So obviously there's a lot of work to turn a plant product into a pharmaceutical product. So let me read you what, right at the beginning here. It says here, il più insignificante filo d'erba cela forse un tesoro terapeutico che potrebbe trasformarsi in moneta sonante per il laboratorio che riuscisse a impadronirsene. First one, that's interesting. So the most insignificant filo d'erba, a blade of grass, inside it, there is a therapeutic value that could be transformed in moneta sonante. You can turn that into money, cash money, per il laboratorio, for the laboratory that succeeds in extracting the value from that blade of grass. So that's an interesting one. L'osservazione del regno vegetale ha portato alla scoperta di una delle medicine più celebri del pianeta, l'aspirina. So, aspirin, for example, comes from the observation of the vegetable kingdom, vegetable kingdom, che ha portato alla scoperta, it is brought to the discovery of very famous medicines from of this world. And that is the aspirin. The aspirin comes from il regno vegetale. Welcome to Angelo email as well. Le medicine tradizionali sono insieme delle terapie e delle filosofie, concezioni del mondo cui conviene aderire prima di seguire le cure che propongono. Le medicine tradizionali, the traditional medicines, altogether are insieme, sono delle terapie, they sort of help you, but they also philosophies. It's a philosophy. I have a philosophy in terms of what I like to eat and the medicines that I accept and whether I follow the doctor's advice, etc., etc. And I'm not very good at it, by the way. I like to be more of a free spirit, so therefore I give the people who look after me trouble sometimes until they get to know each other and they know that I do follow, I respect the knowledge that these people provide. But at the end of the day, I live with myself, you live with yourself. So you really are under obligation to look after our health via the best of foods that we can cook for ourselves. You can't go to the restaurants all the time. First of all, you don't even know what they put in there, but you know, most of them are really fantastic. They have fantastic chefs. When it's well run, a restaurant, they deserve everything, all the accolades that they get. However, on a daily basis, I don't know whether someone could go to a restaurant twice a day. So you're left with the choice. And the choice is, the more you can do for yourself, the better. And the same with our technology. For example, I'm digressing a bit, but if you don't have a good iPhone now, a good phone which you can access and use for access information and use it for information, then you should consider getting one so that you can watch Tom Padula and his lessons online anytime, anywhere. Okay, so these traditional medicines are therapies which are also philosophies, conceptions of the world cui conviene aderire, which we should adhere to before we attempt the cure. You got to know what you're getting yourself into, sort of thing. The next note is: gli scienziati sperano di scoprire nell'immensa riserva delle piante sconosciute, nel cuore delle foreste tropicali, nuovi farmaci in grado di guarire le malattie ancora incurabili. So, scientists are looking for, they hope to find in the immense reserve of plants in the heart of tropical forests new pharmaceutical derivations. So in other words, from various plants, you can cure certain other sicknesses. And it's in grado di guarire le malattie ancora incurabili. There are some sicknesses that can be cured. So that's what they're trying to do. And I read on Facebook this week, there's a heart doctor in the United States who chases up this. He was a heart surgeon, and he then decided that he had had enough, and he decided that the heart can best be looked after by good food, and particular foods that are good for it. But they don't disclose which are the foods and how much, etc. In the end, after an hour and a half of listening to them, they always say, take this pill. I love it. But I want to know exactly what a banana is good, and is it good to eat it raw, or is it good to eat it ripe, how much sugar there is in it, etc. So I'm picking up here and there what they're saying, and I'm, as I said, I take no responsibility whatsoever. I'm just having fun with these cookbooks and health books that I have here at Insegna. And because I like to teach and I'm on my own most of the time, I want to, let's face it, I'm not going to take it with me, so I might as well share it, right? That's what I'm doing. And all the things that I do seem to be free of charge. So the only way that I can encourage people to back up Tom Padula is to come occasionally to see me and buy a few books. And give them away if you don't want to look at them. to somebody who wants to look at them. But this is a good book. There are two so far. This was Le piante che guariscono e pasta fresca ripiena. The other thing that I want to say is that I promise on my online work in insegna.com, I only promise one copy, because, you know, when the copy finishes, I'm not able to necessarily replace it straight away or ever. So in other words, I promise one copy. If I have more than one copy, then I say there's another copy available. But when I sell the copy, I then put it out of stock straight away. Okay, so basically, I'm not promising more than I can chew. That's a fact. Okay, so remember that, you know, when you want to come and see me, appointment, and two, there's only one book of each of the ones that I present here, and there'll be many over this series, and, you know, you can order them if you want to, and first come, first serve. Ok, now, the next one. Invece di procedere alla ricerca nell'immensa riserva costituita dalle foreste, ok, so, i laboratori si avvalgono di etnologi che studiano anzitutto le pratiche fitoterapiche locali, stabilendo così la direzione da prendere. So, these laboratories, they employ what they call the ethnologists. I thought they were more for wines, but anyway, and, you know, they have to identify how these plants, how these plants can be used and for what sickness. And then in the laboratory, they work on it, and they do a lot of research, etc. So it's, you know, it's a big job, really. So when we buy a pill, we've got to remember there's been a lot of research on it. So, but we do need to have these companies under control, because governments need to have them under control, because if they do the wrong thing, a lot of us won't be here tomorrow if we take that particular medicine. So the best thing to do, that's what I'm trying to do now, is to be more selective about what I eat. And occasionally I'll show you some of the foods that I'm fortunate enough to eat, you know, from different places, including my sisters and my sister-in-law and friends, etc. I tend to, you know, even when I go to the social club, like Solarino Social Club, you know, they had a wonderful, but they had pasta and good meat, they were fantastic, but also un arancino ripieno. That's a specialty from Sicily, of course. So, but, you know, you've tasted arancini, they taste differently depending on who makes them. Ok, the next one is la conoscenza empirica e l'utilizzo tradizionale delle piante sono confermati dalle ricerche scientifiche. So, the reality, you know, of what the knowledge that comes, empirical knowledge they call it, and l'utilizzo tradizionale, and the traditional use of these plants, are confirmed by scientific research. So, and I'm assuming that in this book there are, you know, there are a lot of articles. It's a beautiful book. My God, it's just incredible. Incredible. Anyway, we'll keep going. This one here. L'OMS spinge I governi ad incoraggiare il ricorso alla medicina tradizionale. I don't know what OMS means. Organization Mondiale della Salute, forse? Organizzazione Mondiale Salute. Oh. Spinge I governi, pushes the governments to use traditional medicine, so that this knowledge here does not get lost. So I'm assuming that it's Organizzazione Mondiale Salute. Alcune piante contengono oltre 10.000 molecole differenti, ci sono voluti non meno di 4,5 miliardi di anni perché la Terra producesse tale ricchezza e diversità. So this particular book goes to the beginning of time. It says there have been 4.5 miliardi. That's not millions, billions of years. And talking about billions of years from which this rich diversity comes, okay, it's taken a long time. So it has to be respected. And that's why I think when I started my journey last year with the Divina Commedia, then I went to Italian lessons, and I went to world history, and then French and Spanish. So world history, my world history series is coming to an end. By next week, I'll have lessons 1 to 65. I'll have 1 to 65 available. They're also already available there, but that will be in order, 1 to 65 podcasts in YouTube and in insegna.com. And therefore, my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays are finished for those two series. And I thought about it, and I want to repeat it again, that this time here I'm going to do them lesson 1, lesson 2. I'm not going to give a time when I come back with it, but I will say, Cucina e Salute with Tom Padula live on Facebook. And I'll come back to it, and maybe at the beginning of, on the Sunday when I do Dante Alighieri, I can announce it, you know, I'll do what I can, but the idea is for me to get my freedom back, because, you know, when you say you got to do something, you got to do it. You can't pull back. But once you've done it, then you make a decision. Will I do this again? And sometimes I say, no, I'm not going to do that again. Or I'll twist and I'll change it to suit me. Okay? And that's what I think we can do with La Cucina e la Salute. Does it suit you? And I put that there too. Well, I'll keep these books here. Now, this one here, this intrigues me. I don't understand what Cucina macrobiotica is. But should I do this? I'll leave that to later. I've got here, okay, I'll show you the books that I've got. Okay, when you're ready, we'll go. There we are. This is the first one, Cucina macrobiotica. I was very ambitious today. I thought I would, you know, do them all. But, you know, there's a lot here. This one is fornati, soufflé, timballi. Okay? Riso, ricette tradizionali e innovative. Cioccolatissima, praline, cioccolatini e company. Le carni, ricette con il vitello. There you are. Nice one. Veal. That's one of the, you know, people say about Italy is renowned for the spaghetti, the pizza. It's the vitello che agli italiani piace. Il vitellino. Pasta lunga. Okay, this is the spaghetti ones. I should do that next, maybe, with the other one. We'll go through it. Salumi e company. That's another one of the Italian specialities. This one here, frutta, freschezza e salute in tavola. Beautiful. E la cucina siciliana. La cucina mediterranea. And that's it for la cucina. Now, I'll show you I'll talk some more, and then I'll come back to La Salute, you know, the books of La Salute that I've chosen for today. Okay? Now, I saw before that there was one of these books that said pasta lunga. So I'm going to do pasta lunga. Now I'm going to go to it. So I'll go to me now. Okay. And I've shown you the books. So, I mean, I can cover these with explanations, but really they are for you. They're not for me. Pasta lunga. Okay. There's another little explanation here, which I will do. They're good books, actually. Very good. Have you noticed what I got at the back? Here, I invited Marilyn Monroe here, and I've also got a chef looking over me. And Tom Padula happens to be right on the top there with the books. Isn't that a wonderful, wonderful system? I thought, we'll bring something new. And this year, I'm determined to cover some of the books in different areas of knowledge. So we'll go from one to the other. That's why I'd rather have a number of opportunities for me to express myself on different topics and themes. This is pasta lunga now. And I'm going to read, okay? Questo volume è dedicato alla pasta secca in formato lungo. Pasta secca in formato lungo. What you think straight away of? Spaghetti, linguine, tagliatelle. Per designare le pezzature usiamo i nomi codificati e non quelli dati dai pastifici per personalizzare i propri prodotti. So they say we're going to give you the names of these according to us, not according to the various companies they're trying to sell their products. Troverete via via le descrizioni dei diversi formati, così da poterli facilmente riconoscere anche sotto altri appellativi. So they're going to present them to us, these terms, and you'll be able to then decide what is what, even if somebody else calls them differently. Il termine maccheroni, designa sia pasta corta che lunga. So i maccheroni possono essere lunghi o corti. Oh, una scorella sono. Oh, welcome. Con il nome di ferretti si indicano i cosiddetti maccheroni al ferretto, the ones with the small iron stick that you make i ferricelli, what they call ferricelli, fatti avvolgendo la pasta intorno a un'anima metallica. Anima metallica, I didn't know what to call it. Piuttosto semplici sono le regole di cottura, but the cooking part is easier. Messa al fuoco l'acqua, 11 calorie ogni 100 di pasta. Whatever that is, you'd have to get the book and follow what they say. Salatela, put salt in it, quando bolle. When I put the salt before, but they say quando bolle. 6-8 di sale grosso per litro, 6-8 grammi di sale per litro. Buttate la pasta e scolatela al dente, we know that al dente, secondo i tempi di cottura specificati sulla confezione, di solito dagli 8 ai 15 minuti. So generally this pasta secca, il tempo di cottura is 8 to 15 minutes. I tempi di cottura da noi indicati tengono conto anche della preparazione di salse o condimenti. So you cook them a bit al dente or less, depending on what is the condiment, the sauce that you put on it. Nell'elenco degli ingredienti non figurano sale e pepe. We haven't put every time salt and pepper because we assume that you're going to use those, che vengono però indicati all'interno delle ricette. But when we do the recipes here, we will put this much salt and this much pepper, and in my case too, a bit of the hot stuff. Anyway, that's good. That's good. Now there are a lot of beautiful pictures here. I might just show you a little bit if I can. Avete chiaroscuro? Okay, let's have a look. See these ones here? That's one. Bavette scostumate. Bavette, so, and they tell you what to use. This one here. Bavettine gentili, bavettine al limone. A few. Linguine Saint-Jacques. This is the linguine. Look at the way they serve it. and they're beautiful. And linguine Gemini. Let's have a look. Linguine mezzodì. This is linguine mezzodì. Let's go a bit further up. There you are. Look at this. What a wonderful, with peace. Fantastic. Spaghettini primavera, vedi? I got the names as well. So if you're running a restaurant and you're looking at this, you get a lot of ideas. Okay? So, order it straight away. Okay, so that's... Oh, I've got another phone here. So, sorry. Pasta lunga. So we've done today, we've done pasta fresca e ripiena e pasta lunga. And we've done le piante che guariscono. And also, I don't know which one I'm going to use here. This is a good book. La giovinezza vien mangiando. There you are. This is it's not colorful, but it's a beautiful book. What does it have inside? Guida, la giovinezza vien mangiando. Okay, I'll just read you the end part. Okay, so here we are. This one. Okay, it's a bestseller, this one. Il segreto della giovinezza in una chiara, esauriente guida, preziosa sintesi delle più moderne teorie nutrizionali, lo sapevate che le vitamine possono prevenire e far regredire i vuoti di memoria e gli altri segni della senescenza, of getting old. So vitamins. And can I say this before I go any further? I was sitting next to someone when we were going to Darwin on a plane, not in the plane, but in one of the airports, and I sat next to him and he was reading about how you can retain, how you can live longer. And talking, he happened to be a doctor and a researcher as well. And I asked him, he said, one of the key things, he said, are the supplementi, the vitamins. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, I've got my son, Jason, he sort of believes in these things. And then when I came back, I sort of fell into it. Well, occasionally you can take them, but, again, it depends on you. So, this book here says that vitamins can prevent memory losses and other signs of senescenza, the other problems we have as we grow older. Here we are. The next one. Le vitamine e i minerali possono stimolare le funzioni immunitarie, incrementando le difese contro varie malattie. So vitamins can also stimulate the immunology's functions and gives you extra defenses against a variety of sicknesses. Certe erbe possono rivitalizzare il cuore e il sistema circolatorio. So these certain herbs can revitalize the heart and the circulation system. Gli antiossidanti contenuti nei cibi e negli integratori possono prevenire l'ostruzione delle arterie e gli attacchi di cuore. Wow. Molte sostanze chimiche poco conosciute, so these are the antioxidants there contained in certain foods e negli integratori. Wow, I don't know what that is really. Negli integratori, whatever you put in the foods, I suppose, possono prevenire l'ostruzione delle arterie, so obstruction the arteries and the attacchi di cuore and heart attacks. And finally, molte sostanze chimiche poco conosciute ma facilmente reperibili negli alimenti di tutti i giorni possono allungare la vita, aiutando a mantenere il vigore e la tonicità della giovinezza. Do you like the Italian there? Beautiful words, huh? We don't use those in Melbourne very often, do we? Because we read in English. Basically, the ones who read at this level here, they're in English. The Italian is a language that can be developed enormously here amongst the second, third, fourth generation Eastern Australians, or anyone who studies Italian. Wonderful. So here, molte sostanze, many chemical substances that are very little known, but easily picked up from alimentation, from our food of every day, that can extend life, maintaining vigor, strength, and tonality, tonicità, tonus in the muscles of youth. So you can keep young by eating well, exercising, and do everything that you should be doing, including dancing and singing. Which I will introduce here, not the dancing part, but I will introduce some songs, because I just realized I haven't done one song here, not even one, today, but it's the beginning of my journey into Cucina e Salute con TomPadula live on Facebook. Okay, don't forget that. That's the title. And in English is Cooking and Health with TomPadula live on Facebook. Cooking and health. But the stress is more of what there is out there in books and other places of people who actually have done a lot of work in order to bring the best to us, to humanity as a whole. And by the way, this book here, I didn't show you. It's very hard for me to show you, but I'll show it to you now. See, this is the book here. This one is a bit of a read. The other ones were more colourful. This one is not, but guida un'alimentazione anti-invecchiamento. That's what it says. Guide to an alimentation or eating for youth. Okay? I have a lot of other books. Oh, well, now I'll show you the other books that the other health books that I had for today. So I'll just shift myself here. Okay, so here we go. I've chosen these ones here. Come vincere lo stress con il programma GNP, basato anche su alcuni principi del metodo Zigray, etc. So that's one. This one here, erboristeria e medicina naturale dei pelle rosse, the American Indians, and erboristeria, plant medicines, and medicina naturale, and natural medicines of the American Indians. They don't like to be called Indians because they're not Indians at all. They are just indigenous Americans. Voglia di giardino. I giardini imperiali cinesi, il giardino biologico, gli spazi verdi, polmoni della città. And we live in a città, Melbourne, ha dei grandi polmoni. Piantare, potare, raccogliere. All our gardens in Melbourne, they are like lungs, the lungs that produces the oxygen that we need. But then, because we love the oxygen so much, we put so many cars on the road, and the rest is history, as they say. And finally, piante amiche e nemiche dell'uomo. So there are certain plants that are amiche, they're friends of men and women, but also nemici, enemies. Some of them you shouldn't touch, depending. So these are the books that I had here today. Each week I will present different books, but the ones on the cooking here, we've done pasta. I'll do some of the others from these particular books, but I'll have more time. I don't promise I'll come back to this topic straight away, but this is presentation number 1, 7th of February 2023. And it's It's 5:24. I started at 5:35. You know, it's 50 minutes so far. And basically, don't you think we should have something to do with fruit and vegetables? You know, nice, refreshing at the end of this particular presentation. Frutta, frutta. Okay, freschezza e salute in tavola. So let's have a look what they say about la frutta. This time I'll read it in Italian. I'll just give it a brief, depending on how I go for time. I think I can do it within the time allocated. That is 1 hour. And frutta, frutta, freschezza e salute in tavola. La frutta, allegria della tavola in ogni stagione, dolce coronamento d'ogni pasto, ma anche prezioso ingrediente d'una cucina ricca di fantasia ed eleganza, capace di trasformare il più banale dei piatti in una piacevole sorpresa. Ed ecco una galleria di ricette in cui la frutta, nostrana ed esotica, fresca e secca, cruda o cotta, recita la parte della protagonista, concorrendo a comporre portate adatte tanto all'occasione più raffinata che a ravvivare il desco quotidiano. Antipasti, minestre fredde e calde, zuppe e paste asciutte, pietanze di terra e di mare, stuzzicanti insalate, nonché un'intelligente scelta di dolci facili da abbinare alle ricette precedenti, in modo da consentire a chi lo voglia di comporre in ogni stagione un appetitoso menù interamente a base di frutta, dall'antipasto al dessert. Le ricette sono illustrate da sequenze fotografiche che ne rendono più facile la realizzazione. Nell'elenco degli ingredienti non figurano sale e pepe, il cui uso si dà per scontato, al pari dell'acqua per cuocere la pasta o lessare le vivande, ma nella ricetta è indicato il momento di impiegarli. Il nostro consiglio è di scorrere attentamente l'elenco degli ingredienti, corredato anche dai tempi necessari per la preparazione e la cottura dei piatti, nonché dell'indicazione del loro livello di difficoltà e del grado di sapore, insieme ai vapori dietologici, quindi di leggere con cura la ricetta in ogni sua fase prima di eseguirla e, come al solito, buon appetito. This is a series, of course, and therefore some of the advice given is to be followed. That's what they say. However, certain things are not included in some of the recipes, but they say pepe, sale. In other words, the recipes, maybe I should do one. Let me see. Astice in carpaccio, pollo alle mele. This is a good one. Pollo alle mele. Let's have a look what they say. Here we are. See that? Un pollo predisposto all'uso, 1,2 kg, funghi prataioli coltivati, champignon, 3 mele, 3 scalogni, calvados, sidro secco, una panna liquida, burro. Don't be afraid when you don't understand something, because you can always find out. It's a slow process. And then, you can have some really good time with con le ricette. By the way, I don't use them at all. The recipes for me, I just use whatever there is in the fridge. But the good cooks, they will study some of these, and of course, they're wonderful. Maybe after I start with this Cucina e Salute with Tom Padula, someone will invite me to their good kitchens, and we'll take some of these and See what happens. So those are the books so far today. I have enjoyed it today. I didn't think I was going to. And the reason for that is simple. I'm not a chef. I'm not a cook. Officially, I cook for myself now. I cook for a few other people, and a lot of them don't want what I produce. You know, the soups and the polpette and a few other things, but not much variety. You can get the variety if you got good time, you got good facilities. That's what it is. It's the facilities makes the professional. Without facilities, you can't achieve certain things. So here I am with Marilyn Monroe, and I have to call. I don't know what to call the other one. I have to look up a famous woman cook or woman chef and give her a name. That one there comes from I think it was in the early 90s, believe it or not, about 30 years ago. Because I used to do theatre, I'd pick up things like this because, you know, you have to keep them in a warehouse, and warehouse costs money to maintain. But I've always had plenty of things around so that I could use them in the theatre. And when you've got space, then it gets filled up. And then when you move, you've got to shift it all. It's very difficult. And then you have to throw a lot of things out. That's life, isn't it? But there you are. And the other one, Marilyn Monroe, comes from my son, Jason. Thank you very much, Jason. And the other one is from Rosario Scarpato. He was a good mate. He did the Italian Cuisine Festival here in Melbourne at the Exhibition Building in the early 90s, and also at the Docklands. He had established like a cinema, but with diapositive. It was, you could smell. In this particular place, you went in there and you saw some people cooking, and if there was, say, lemon smell, there would be a lemon smell when whilst you were sitting, you could smell the lemon that was being shown on the screen. Beautiful ideas, but acqua passata, eh? Okay, well, thank you very much to all who have come. I didn't expect to have all of you here listening to me at this time, but, you know, I won't promise when I will come on, but I will now share this, and you can look at it again, because most people then look at my work after I've done it, not during. Okay, so here we go. Ciao from Tom Padula of TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. Insegna.com, don't forget. Look up the blog section. This was Cucina e Salute con Tom Padula live on Facebook.